Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another E-Heroes edition. Hey, it's been over 100 episodes, and I wanted to reach out and bring Steve Sims back into the podcast studio, and because he's been doing some great stuff, and I wanted to talk about this book, and I wanted to talk about some other stuff. So welcome, Steve, and thanks for being here. I see you got a copy too.
I got the one copy I kept. How you doing, pal? You good?
I'm good. It's it's been a while, and it's been 3 years since the book came out.
Do you know,
And
funny enough, I was looking at it's been 3 years since the book came out, and I was looking at Sonia and Cole Hatter's video that they put together that we stuck on the website, and I was amazed at how many people that were actually there. Now, we were pretty young in our relationship. We didn't know each other very well, and you ended up coming to that party. I forgot you were there, and so
I forgot when I was there too. I mean,
yeah, and as the night went on, everyone forgot everything because we all got shit faced. But it was funny to see the book launch and the relationships that I've had that have got stronger, and the friendship that me and you has grown. So it was kind of and 3 years.
yeah.
3 years.
So if you're listening on audio, the book is called "Blue Fishing: The Art of Making Things Happen," and it's an awesome book. I highly recommend it. Don't just buy one. Buy two or three or four and give them to your friends. Because honestly, right now, entrepreneurs need to understand the art of making things happen, especially during this pandemic. It's crazy. Businesses are going out of business, and they're volunteering. They're just raising their hand saying, "Shut me down." Really stupid.
Yeah, they're not changing. They're not changing. And the 2020 word is pivot. It's been used everywhere. It's been used to death. It's been used inappropriately. But a lot of businesses aren't pivoting, or if they are pivoting, they're pivoting wrong. And I told you the story that we were talking about this before we went on live. So many brands that we know are going broke, are going bankrupt, are going into receivership, and they just announced a lot of British ones that I grew up with that are on Oxford Street, which is our main big street of London. Massive, great stores, which is part of the problem, are going bankrupt. But not one brand. Usually it's a holding company that own like 20 brands. Therefore, all 20 brands are going bust. And I went into Best Buy the other day with my son, Henry, and we were looking at a monitor. And as we're looking at this monitor to support our local business, even though it was a Best Buy, major big brand, we were supporting our local business by going in. Within 2 minutes of being in there and Henry looking at these monitors, one of the members of the Geek Squad came out over to service and actually said, "Oh, you may want to go online and look at better deals." He was telling us to leave the store, shop from the comfort of our armchair, and put that store out of business. It was just, I couldn't understand it. It literally, I looked at him, I'm like, he's fucking kidding. I was stunned that people aren't pivoting. Quite simply now, in-store experiences should be better. We should do everything that Amazon is doing and everything they're not. And so when you go into the store, it should be like, "Hey, how are you? How can I help you today? Well, have you considered this?" Because the customer doesn't know what they don't know. That's why they go into a store for your expert advice, not to be told, "Fuck off and buy it on Amazon."
And Apple's the same. Apple's the same thing. You take your phone into the Genius store, and you can't even get in. They make you form a line outside, and they scan your head with these temperature guns. They make you feel so slimy, and then by the time you get in, they treat you like you're a contagion. Well, screw you, Apple. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, it's a sad thing. Apple do a lot of stuff and it gets shipped to your home. One of the beautiful things that Apple used to do, and I've noticed they're actually reducing it, and in fact they even removed one of the main elements. They used to have the Genius Bar in there, and it was an actual Genius Bar. Now it's very hard to book an appointment, and when you do, they stand you on the edge of like a table with a load of iPhones or something like that. What Apple did brilliantly that no one else did, and I remember Dell was very good at its support service. But we want support, but let's be blunt, we also want someone to grab our phone, hit a couple of buttons and do it for us. The Genius Bar was always wonderful for that, and they've removed those. You keep removing the elements that have people coming to you, sooner or later you're going to remove the client's need to actually come to you at all. It's weird.
Yeah. And I want to talk about your Speakeasy, because to me that was one of the most significant impacts of my business over the last year. And I went to the one in San Francisco. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Most of the entrepreneurs that went had no idea. And we get there, we're blown away. We got, it's a small group of probably 40 people, but
Yep, no more than 40.
The contacts and the business and everything that I've gotten out of that since then have been spectacular. Now I missed the last two only because of conflicting schedules, but those, if you're an entrepreneur out there that has no idea what you need to be doing in business, or you don't know how to pivot, or you just don't know how to network, get to a Speakeasy. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But one of the things that you handed out was this little guy right here. And it's for all you guys on audio that can't see this, it's a little caricature of Steve's face on a sticker that he puts everywhere. I get books from Steve. I don't even ask for books. He just sends them. Hey, Rob, you need to read more. And his sticker is plastered all over the box. I mean, to me, that is, the whole thing of branding, because when I get this box with his sticker on it, I know it's from Steve. And I know that there's something awesome inside it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've always said that you never stop branding, okay? You never stop. And I've always been like the Post. We get loads of shit posts. Now, here's the beautiful, the daft thing. If we go back 20 years, our post box was chock-a-block. Now, when you open up your post box, it's got like, just like dust in there. And any minute now, you think you're going to hear some kind of whistling from like a Western movie, and a bit of tumbleweed come out of it, because there's fuck all in your post box anymore, other than maybe the latest Chinese restaurant, a new dry cleaners, and maybe a couple of bills, which always have those little see-through parts for your address, so it's a bill. I bought, and again, I always try different things. Some things work, some things don't, but that's how you find out what works. And I bought from, I think it was rubberstamp.com, these couple of stamps in different sizes with my face on it. I had a little caricature done. Hey, you can get that done on Fiverr for literally $5, and you upload it up to Rubber Stamp. They give you a stamp, and then whenever you get an envelope, just go psycho on the back of it with a bunch of these stamps, and then you send it out. The amount of people, here's the byproduct, the amount of people that get those packages and those envelopes, and the first thing they do is they smile, because this is like some, 4-year-old, slightly mentally challenged child has gone nuts on this box with my face all over it in no order, upside down, all over, lapping over. And the anticipation and excitement of what's in it, and the amount of people that actually post pictures of the envelope or of the box. And you've seen it. They actually like, another package from Steve, another envelope. It's cost me nothing to just stamp the shit out of it. Yet I'm stunned that people don't do it for themselves. Because then what happens is someone contacts and they're like, what's in the box? And I'm like, well, you got to be part of the group. And they go, oh, I'm joining. They join the group or something, or they do something with me, so they get on my list, so they get my little envelopes or something. And it's not just the boxes. You probably got the Christmas card as well, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Christmas card. What was that, July, June?
July, and it was a seal with a hat on. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Oh, it was just stupid stuff. But that's what I like doing. I like doing what everyone else is doing, the videos, the podcasts, the sensible stuff. And then I like doing everything that no one else is doing, which is the stupid shit, which funny enough gets me more attention over to my sensible stuff. So you got to try different things.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, and I think that you're a big, you've come out of this pandemic differently than others. And you've had a lot of success with Hollywood. You've had a lot of success with booking these incredible trips for people, and that whole business kind of went to the wayside because you can't do
Died. Yep, died.
so. You're doing all this other stuff now, and I hate the word pivot because to me it shouldn't even be in the lexicon of entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
We just do something else.
yeah, yeah. I remember someone saying to me, "There's all these taglines," and someone said, "When the going gets tough, the tough get going." Okay, and someone said to me, when the going gets tough, when the work's tough, the entrepreneurs get working, or something like that. I've never heard of anything so stupid. Entrepreneurs never stop. Okay, entrepreneurs work on a Sunday if they need to work on a Sunday. They take a Tuesday off if they want to take a Tuesday off. When the going's easy, they're working. When the going's tough, they're working. Entrepreneurs are constantly creatively disrupting, and we never stop. And we got into this pandemic, and we just went, what now? I remember, and it was, I think, the 30th of March was when we had the close down. And one of the biggest problems of that shutdown that we had earlier this year was that the last meal I had was at a Mexican restaurant that gave me the runs, and then I got home only to see on the TV that you can't go to a restaurant. I'm thinking, shit, never going to go to a restaurant for the rest of my life. And the last one I went to was the one that killed my ass. It was just horrible that I had that memory. But I went out driving about a week later when we suddenly started hearing about, hey, we need to be wearing these face masks. And as I come off the highway on the 101 here in Los Angeles to my home, there would always be a family. And I know it's a family because sometimes the kids would be there. The guy would be on the left or the guy would be on the right, and the mum and the kids. But it would always be this family on either side to get both lanes of the slip-off. And they would be selling flowers. And when Kobe Bryant died, they were selling Kobe Bryant T-shirts or caps or balloons. And when it's Valentine's Day, there was stuffed teddy bears and stuff like that. A week later, they had a cardboard box, and stapled up on these boxes was all these different shades of face masks. This Mexican family, you say the word pivot, no one pivoted faster than these did. And I was like, that is great. And I bought, I don't know how many of these masks I bought, never wore them, but it didn't matter. These people had decided, right, pivot, bang. And I thought to myself, you've got a low-income family that is financially challenged. I don't think they're going home in a Rolls Royce. They're financially challenged, but they can see the necessity to move, to change, to look at the opportunity. They're not at home going, where's my stimulus check? And oh, by the way, what could I binge watch on Netflix? They're out there seizing the moment. And I thought, if they can be doing it, why shouldn't everyone else?
Yeah. And when speaking of stimulus checks, I mean, I never, we got our tiny little one here in the United States. And I know Canada was getting them for months and months, and some other countries were too. And, our government here in the United States said, hey, take out all these loans. Come on, we'll give them to you. No strings attached. I didn't take any. I didn't need it. I have been banking money for years, but I know so many people that have went out and got these loans, and 6 months later they're bankrupt anyway because they didn't know how to plan or budget or even handle this whole thing. And then you have Lowe's and all these big box stores. They just put plexiglass up everything and come on in. To me, it never made sense to me how a small business could not adapt to the change quicker than a big business could. Most times, I know big businesses just they take forever. They have to go through committee and do this and do that. And it just seemed like the big businesses were on top of it faster than the small business.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. You see, the pandemic has forced us all to play a game. what it's done is it's scooped the entire world up. That's the big thing. We are no different to the UK, to Italy, to Russia, to China. We're all the same. We're all in this, and it's affected us all. And I have a lot of international clients, so my conversations are very global. It scooped us all up, flown us over like Wembley Stadium, dropped us all in the middle of it, and gone, play the game. But they haven't given us any rules. We don't know where the goalposts are. We don't know what the goalposts look like, but they've told us that we've got to play the game. And there's been two decisions that have been made. One, do we run to the bench and cry and saturate ourselves with the news every day of how fucking bad the world is and how we're all going to shit and how we're all going to die? And then after that, binge watch, the problems. Have you noticed, and Netflix did this, most of the movies that have been downloaded have been like horror, murder, or pandemic movies. You're in a pandemic. I've got an idea what we can watch. Let's watch a horror movie where we all die of a vicious disease, as fucking entertainment. They do that, but the other half of the world have stayed on the pitch and gone, right, how do we play? You know what the rules are? No. So let's make our own. And those are the different kinds of people. And you can physically watch. I've had a couple of my friends, I will say just a couple, because I'm a selfish bastard as far as it comes to friends. I really look at their asset value. It sounds horrible, but I don't surround myself with clowns at all.
And that takes me into this next thing, because honestly, you are the master when it comes to looking at people's, how they perform. But most businesses right now are cutting their own throat just so that they can go out there and make a buck. And to me, that is the worst decision. I remember sitting with you at breakfast in LA a couple years ago, and you told me, raise your price, raise it again, raise it some more, make your minimum, like $1,000 or whatever it was. And I'm like, and I kept coming up with these excuses, and you just do it. But a lot of these independents, these mom and pops, they're slicing prices, and it's like, wow, you're going to sell that to me for, those prices are ridiculous. I mean, and then you wonder, okay, how are you going to stay in business? Because there is no way that you can make money selling me that.
We've got a couple of issues on that. Okay, let's focus on that for any business out there that's got the problem. Today, at the moment, we're creating habits. We're creating habits and we're creating triggers more than you realize. Okay, if you are cost slashing or price slashing your business, then people are going to expect that, and they're going to go, "Hey, I supported you back then. I want that pricing now, and you're fucked." Okay. So what you're doing now is creating a habit, and it's a bad one. The other downside is people, and I've never understood this, people try to price into the wrong market. If someone is saying to you, I don't have the money for your product, can you give it to me for half price and then I'll buy it? You should be going, well, I'm obviously marketing to the wrong crowd. I need to market to people that don't have income as an issue. Now, and again, this is horrible, so I'm apologizing in advance, blah, blah. We've seen millions and millions and millions of people out of work, okay? And we sit there and they go, oh, how am I going to survive? Millions of people are out of work. None of my clients are out of work, okay? They just can't travel now because they're being told they can't travel, okay? But you're sat there watching the TV and go, the millions of people out of work are people that are driving, the manual workers. They're builders, they're restaurant staff, they're cleaners, they work in stores. Bottom line of it is, 98% of the people that are unemployed were never your clients to start with, okay? So you're sitting there bitching and moaning about it. Go for people where price is not a concern. I've always said, market up. If you've got people here and they can afford, people have said to me about a speakeasy, I charge $2,000 to go to an event that you know nothing about. You know that, and everyone in the room pays that. Okay. I've had people contact me going, oh, why don't you do an event for $500? Because I don't know how to give you just $500 worth of value. I just don't know how to do it. If I did an event for you for 500 people for $500, I'd get way more people, which means I'd have to spend more money on a location, more money on catering. It doesn't make sense to me. So you've got to market up, raise your price up, and market to a group of people where finances are not going to be the excuse and value will be.
And for those that want to know what happened at the Speakeasy that I went to, we took a tour of the Tesla factory, which was awesome because, I never knew how Teslas were built. We took a tour of ManyChat, which is a chat bot service in San Francisco. And, we had some great times and we learned a lot of great stuff. Steve brings in some speakers that were just dynamic. And, so there's a lot of value, that probably more value than you're going to get, for the $2,000 that you're going to pay.
Well, that's the goal. That's the aim. I want you walking out of that event going, I've done stuff which I never could have done without Steve. And I've met people that I never would have met without Steve. I want you to feel as though you ripped me off. I want you to feel as though you turned up, paid $2,000, got 10 grand, but don't want to say much because you just got too much value. That's the way it should be. But sadly, for most events, it's not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think right now everybody's zoomed out. And I love Zoom for doing these interviews. But honestly, every day, everybody wants to invite me into a Zoom or do this and do that. And after a while, it's like, I have no energy to do any of that. I have to do my own stuff, and everybody's putting their events on webinars and Zoom. And it's like, I go to these events to meet people. I can't really meet people online.
I think that's where people are getting things wrong. And you hit it perfectly. So it needs amplifying on that point there. You go to an event not for who's on stage. You go to an event for who's sitting next to you, for the new relationship you're going to build. For a start, you need to go to the event to get you out of your day. You need to be isolated and saturated with eager, open-minded people. And you can only do that when you are void of any other distraction, like the dog pissing on your leg, needing a cup of coffee, the postman knocking on the door, all those, the emails come, because people watch Zoom and you can see them watching Zoom and they're doing this while they're just checking their emails and they're like, can you repeat that? We're too distracted. You don't go to events for the people on stage. They are a perk. They are a benefit. But it's the room you're in where all the value is. I openly say, this is probably obnoxious and arrogant, which I'm sure no one's ever said I am. But if we went to San Francisco and I had not got the speakers up there that we did, but I had just got all of the people in the room to converse with each other for 2 days, you'd have still gone away with an asset. You would have still got away bettered. I just gave you speakers and some very dynamic and creative people to shock your way of thinking. But it was the people, it was the room you're in. And I've always said, because they always say you are the combination of the 5 people you know. I always say that you are the room you're in. So I want to make sure every speakeasy room is a room that someone's in going, holy fuck, I can't believe I'm in this room with these rock stars. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, and you do it so well. I mean, because everybody I've talked to, so they've gone to multiple speakeasies, because of what's going to happen afterwards. They don't even care if you took them to the dump. It's just that group of people that are there sharing their knowledge with each other, and they're willing to spend that kind of money for you to take them anywhere.
Yeah, it's But the funny thing is, I want to make sure that people don't think this is a pitch fest on a speakeasy. I want you to think about your community. Now, with my community, I make them pay $2,000 and I have them turn up somewhere. That's as much as they know. But I built up the credibility.
Mhm.
Also, the people that get there, they're the kind of freak show that I want because they are open to what's going on. They are ready. They are receptive. They are disruptive and they are eager and they know nothing. Think about your tribe. Now, bearing in mind, my first speakeasy was launched through an argument I had with my daughter. I didn't want to be at home during my birthday. She was a teenage girl. If anyone knows anything about teenage girls, we all know they are fucking horrible. And I wanted to be nowhere near her. So I literally said, look, spend 2 days with me. I'll get some friends in, $2,000. Who wants to come? And I had a bunch of people sign up. And there was no information. There wasn't even a location. And someone said to me, this is like a speakeasy. We know nothing, but we know where that's all the fun's going to be. So that's how the word speakeasy came from. But the funny thing was, I was now obligated to be able to fulfill. And we've now been doing it for over 2.5 years. We're going into our 3rd year next year. Next one's in January, by the way, shallow plug. But the funny thing is, I challenged my worth, my relationship and credibility worth. I put it out there. Who wants to come? And I challenged to find out if I had the reach. Do you? If you have a community and you go, hey, I need you to support this, send $100 to this link, you can thank me later. How many people would do it? So do challenge yourself to find out how good you actually are, rather than all of those likes puffing up your ego.
Well, I think you also do some good in the community, and you challenge people in ways that other people wouldn't. And you even said, "Hey, come to jail with me," and people are like, "What? What are you talking about? Come to jail? What?" But people pay to go to prison with you, and they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, $500. That was I went to prison. There's two parts of the story. A friend of mine, Jason Gaynard, that run Mastermind Talks up in Canada, he actually, for his birthday, was working with Kat Hoke, who at the time was the head of Defy. And he was doing it in LA in a level 4 maximum security jail. And basically level 5 is Guantanamo. So you're not meeting people in prison that are there because of a parking ticket, And he went, do you want to go to prison with me? And I was like, yeah. And I did it at the time because I thought it would give me a cool story. I love challenging my comfort level. So getting into a prison, not of one with parking fees, not one because they weren't paying their child support, but one where there was heads of drug empires, heads of gangs, and being able to sit opposite them and go, is there a connection? I wanted to challenge myself. Can I connect with this person? Is there anything relatable, or am I just scared shitless and can't wait to go home? So I did it for me, all selfish, all me. And I got there, and it was probably, God, we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning. We left at 6:30 in the morning. We got there at 9 o'clock, and we left, I think it was like 4:30. So we were in there for an entire day. The same room. It was actually the gymnasium. The same room with armed guards around the top, guards around the bottom, and a big sign on the wall saying there are no warning shots. So, that kind of stuff. And we're in the same room. And I think it was an hour after my intimidation of going through like about 12 sets of gates that open up in front of you, lock behind you, and you're just walking through this area of oppression. And within an hour, I was like, I'm in a location where a lot of your actions were created because of the zip code lottery. You were grown up where your parents were in the drug trade. On the way to school, you had to drop off a parcel to Uncle Billy, who wasn't your uncle, but and then had to take an envelope. You were in the drug trade from the age of 4. You were in a gang because you didn't fit from the age of 8. You didn't have a choice. but they still knew about respect, hierarchy, delegation, outsource. They knew these things, but they just did it in the criminal world. So I went there and I came out of that and I was like, I'm changed. I literally was changed. I came out and I went and had an old fashioned, and which I've been known to do, and I was suddenly wealthier than I was ever in my life. And I went home and I hugged Claire and I looked at the sky, and the grass was greener, the sky was bluer, I was free. And I learned so much from these people, and I did connect with most of them, not all of them. There were a few that, I'd probably never see again. But you gotta get yourself uncomfortable to be able to grow. And it changed me so much that I ended up speaking to a gentleman by the name of Andrew Glazer, who then took over from Kat as the head of Defy. And I said, what is this? I had no idea what I was going. I went in there for my social reasons. And he said, well, we run a training program to take them to what they call EITs, Entrepreneurs in Training. He said, they're already businessmen, okay? They've already run empires, but never in the legal world. How can they take that skill set and move it into this skill set, And so they have these programs, they have these courses, and it gets you closer to when you get released, and then you get like $250 if you win a competition, like a Shark Tank thing, to put towards your business. And I said, so who's bankrolling this? And they said, well, we always ask for donations. And I was like, no one gives donations. Okay, we're all selfish. You do something and then put your hand out. No, front load it, expose the value, front load it, give them something that they would never be able to get. And I said to him, I want to help. Will you let me kind of try and do something? Now, who's ever not only run a mastermind, but run it for free, because I'm not making any money out of it, charged you, and you're not getting Damon John, Jay Abraham, or Tony Robbins, you're getting a mass murderer or the head of the Crips or someone like, you are getting put in an uncomfortable situation, okay? And I guarantee you it'll be the best day of your life. And I just wanted to see, again, challenge myself. Could I raise money and could I get these people uncomfortable, which is very easy in prison? And then can I release them to have them have the same euphoria that I did? And so I said, I want to charge $500. And I said, they're going to donate that directly to Defy. It's not going to come anywhere near me. It's not going to come through my account. And I'm going to top slice $400 like sadly most people do. It's all going straight over there. And it worked. I couldn't believe it. And they said, well, we can't take any more than 30. I think it was 36 or 34 people per time. And I think the first time I did it, we were 20 something. The second time we were like 28. Third time was like a wait list. I have taken over 100 entrepreneurs into prison. We've had some we call them repeat offenders. We've had some repeat offenders that have come back. Henry always goes to prison. And he said he's got some friends in there. And wow. It's amazing. I've been in that room, and I've been in some of the richest rooms in the world, Oscar parties, Monte Carlo, Geneva. And I'll tell you, the difference between that room and the other rooms is the other room, they got better tailors, but they're just as big as crooks. They just didn't get caught. So it's amazing where you find the relationships. Little flip side on that, when I was trying to generate some buzz and getting people to come to prison with me, I would put up there, hey, I'm going to prison. I would say things like, if you try to get hold of me next Wednesday, you won't be able to, I'm going to prison. Okay? And I had some people going, oh, what are you doing? And they were open-minded that I was obviously doing something in prison. But the amount of people that DM'd me going, Steve, I don't care what you did. I've got your back. I'll look after your wife. I'll feed your dog. And I'm like, no, you're fucktard. I'm going in there to train people. But it wasn't a surprise to a lot of my friends that I was going in. And it was like, how long, Steve? Where's the address? And I'm like, shut up.
So what's next for Steve Simpson?
Getting uncomfortable. I like to there's an old saying that Joe Polish gave me, and you know Joe, obviously, and he said, "Get comfortable with being uncomfortable," and your growth comes from that. So when you're running your course, when you're running your events, when you're doing a book, try to find that thing that you can push a little bit more to make you uncomfortable. The speakeasies I like, and I run them 3 times a year because I have to be uncomfortable because you have no idea what's going to happen. So I have to be the wizard that surprises you. It honestly makes me uncomfortable. And therefore, every time I do one, it stretches me to a new level of normal. Okay. And so the next event I come along to, and here's the daft thing, we have probably have about 40% repeats that come, okay, that know the kind of thing that they're going to get. Now, we've never repeated the speakers, we've never repeated the locations. So they know it's all going to be different, but there's a kind of, midday we have lunch, and in the evening they know that there's going to be that kind of formula that's done. But every time I could repeat what I did on the last event, on the next event, and most people, if not all of them, would be equally in awe of the event. But I would be bored because I've already done that shit. So I want to do something different. I want to get you uncomfortable. So I like doing things that are uncomfortable. What that leads me into next, I don't know. But I want a passport to uncomfortableville, and that's where I like to live.
Speakeasy on a yacht, speakeasy in Berlin.
Well, you say Berlin. I was hoping that 2021 would be my first international, and we were messing around, going that we should do a bucket list speakeasy, and like every 2 or 3 years, there would be a bucket list one where we would do it in the catacombs of the Vatican, or we would do it on Jackie Onassis' yacht, or we would do it in the Pentagon. But I wanted to go international. And I did want to do it, in the grounds of Buckingham Palace or something, where you get this amazing experience with amazing people, but you also get these 2 days. So it would probably be something like a 4-day event, where 2 days of it would be, again, the usual kind of amazing people come in and educate you and disrupt you and get you thinking differently, and then get this amazing experience that you would share with amazing people. So we were looking at doing the Speakeasy bucket list series, but it kind of got knocked out of bed because of COVID. 2022, I will hereby say I want to do my first international. And I'm not talking about Canada. No disrespect to Canada, but you can't go, where should we go this international, and then make it next door. So it's got to be somewhere different.
So where do people go to find out more information about you? Or
well, I'm in prison a lot, so hang out there, yeah. So
San Quentin.
San Quentin, yeah. So you can go to steveDsims.com. If you're watching this, and there's only one M in Sims, steveDsims.com. I'm Steve D Sims everywhere: Instagram, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. Facebook. I do a private group, as you know, called an Entrepreneurs Advantage with Steve Sims, and that's my free Facebook group. But I get around faster than COVID, so you'll trip over me if you look.
And if you go on Amazon, you can get blue fishing in how many languages now?
Oh God, I think it's 7. And it's pretty. It's been delayed being released in Russian.
Wow.
It was supposed to be in Russian in June, but Simon Schuster just merged with Random House Penguin, so it's now the largest publishing house in the planet. But Russian is coming out, but it's in Polish, Thai, Mandarin Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, British. So it's just I think it's 7 languages it's in.
British. Yeah, who speaks that besides you?
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, that's what makes Steve the ultimate e-hero, because he's everywhere. He's everywhere, and you guys all have to go there and learn, because you want to stay in business, right? Yeah. Anyway, catch you guys on the next interview, and we'll see you later.